Only mode.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Neil Pollock. I'm one of the sales directors here at KOREC. Welcome to the third in our series of webinars on the Trimble X7 laser scanner. Had a fantastic attendance on all of these so far. So thank you to everybody that's attended, and also big thank you to the teams at KOREC and Trimble who put in all of the hard work to put these together. If you have attended the previous sessions, welcome back. If you haven't, then you're very welcome. All of the previous sessions are available on the KOREC website for viewing if you'd like to have a bit of a review of those. So today we will be focusing on the X7 for construction professionals. We're delighted to be joined by Chris Quirk from Trimble, who's going to guide us through the X7 utilising the Trimble FieldLink operating system. We will, of course, have time for questions at the end of this, but feel free to ask these throughout the session and we can review at the end. So with that, over to you, Chris.
Thanks, Neil. Good morning, everybody. Thanks again for attending this webinar today. Appreciate it's quite difficult circumstances at the moment. Right, let's get this started. Okay, so as mentioned, my name is Chris Quirk. I work for the Field Technology Group. So Field Technology Group is a separate part of the business. It used to be part of Trimble Buildings, just recently been moved into the CEC area, but this is different to our geospatial segment. So the solution that you're going to see today, although it's similar hardware, we use a different software platform and we've got some different workflows as well to help with the construction industry. So this is what we're going to cover today. A little bit about the Field Technology Group. These are the products that we have available. So we do have some total stations. These are actually the RTS series. So these are different to the surveying solution that we have. And this is used in conjunction with our software platform, Trimble FieldLink. So we have the LPT, RTS, and GNSS for our digital setting out using 3D models in the field. We also have our 3D laser scanning solutions, so the TX series, and the X7, which we'll be covering today, and also on mixed reality. So you may have seen this around quite a lot. It's proven quite popular at the moment. So this is actually the HoloLens 2, which is incorporated into a hard hat. So it's the only solution at the moment for people to take mixed reality out onto the construction site. And then we also have our labour, equipment and material. So we have some software platforms to be able to track people and materials on site. Many of these aren't actually available in the UK at the moment, but are widely used around North America and other parts of Europe. So I thought I'd put them in. So at Trimble, we try and practice the constructible process. So we like to think that we're connected through all phases of a construction site. So, and using these solutions, what we want to do is we want to work together and connect people, different stakeholders, and different areas of the construction site. So in an ideal world, the constructible workflow we have is using a highly detailed BIM model, using the likes of Tekla, SketchUp, and other plugins for Revit that we have. Some offsite prefabrication using laser scanners to check this, make sure it's accurate, taking this out on site, using the total stations of FieldLink to do our setting out, and then being able to use our laser scanning equipment for your QA, QC, and recording all your as-built information. And all this information can be shared via the cloud platform we have, which is Trimble Connect. So that's kind of what we're trying to achieve, and this is what we would like all of our customers to be using in an ideal world. So moving on to the X7, I just want to talk about some of the challenges that we have with laser scanning. Laser scanning has become widely popular. It's available to most people now, and most people within construction have had some experience using laser scanning or point cloud data. Some of the issues we've had previously are around target setup with registration, having to go on site, make sure you have all your targets there available, sufficient coverage of scan. It's very difficult at the moment to see what you've captured using some older laser scanning solutions. So you can't always see what you captured, and if you captured everything you required until you get back to the office, by which time it's too late, you need to do another site visit. Aligning the point cloud to the 3D model, this can always be tricky. Quite often you have to use a total station as well, so having to take a second instrument, have to set this up to ensure that you've got your point cloud in the correct coordinate system. Complex scanning software, so we have our own solutions, the Trimble RealWorks, which is a great and powerful piece of software. But if you're relatively new to laser scanning, it can be a little bit intimidating to use. Registration and georeferencing, which I kind of touched upon, and being able to export this data easily as well. So making it available in other CAD platforms. Quite often, you're going to need to get this data into an Autodesk product to be able to do your 3D modeling or recording your as-built. So we want to make that easier as well. And being able to only view all these results until you get back into the office. So these are the current challenges that we're seeing, and hopefully what we're going to assist with today. And in order to overcome a lot of these issues, we've introduced our new laser scanner, the Trimble X7. And our message to the market is it's simple, smart, and professional. And I'll go through each one of these and show you what we mean by that. But simple being that it's very, very easy for someone to use, very short learning curve. We use it with a very easy to use piece of software called FieldLink. And that allows you to manage and view all your scan data in the field. Smart because we've put some new technology in this laser scanner, which is a massive improvement on what we've got at the moment, and also some firsts for the laser scanning industry. And professional. So although it's simple, although we've made it easier to use, you're still going to get a professional, very accurate result, which is going to be able to be used to improve your productivity in the field. So a little bit about Trimble FieldLink, the software that we're using. So Trimble FieldLink has been around for some time. We're actually now on version 5.4, and this is used for digital setting out. So what this does is it allows people to take 3D models and data out into the field and set out from there. We have a number of different features on there. So the newest version that we've got, we now use our 3D Tekla modeling engine in there, and this allows us to work with very large, very detailed files, and it can render them on the tablet, no problem at all. You can also create data on the fly, so anything you want to set out on site, you don't have to do it in the office. You can do this directly from the 3D model. And we also have true BIM data. So when you bring an IFC model over and it's got associated BIM data, all that data gets brought over into the tablet as well. So the engineer or the contractor can see that. When they're out on site, they can click on objects and it'll show them what that object is, the dimensions of it, the elevation of it, and that type of thing. We also support a number of different file types. So we've got our TRB file, which is a Trimble file. So this is a converted Revit file. We also support a DWG, DXF, IFC, and PDF, which can all be uploaded directly to the tablet. And we have a multiple model format as well on here now. So what that means is you can actually have a Revit model with a DWG model and an IFC model all overlapped in the same place. And you can turn these models on and off as you want to. And all the layers and groups that you bring over from these CAD platforms, they're all available to be able to turn on and off. So some really good visualization tools to be able to help you out on site. And then we've got our Trimble Connect workflow. So the cloud platform I mentioned before, Trimble Connect. It's worth mentioning as well at the moment, Trimble have actually made Trimble Connect free of charge until the end of June. We know it's very difficult for people at the moment trying to collaborate from home. So what we've done is we've got a personal format of Trimble Connect, which was very limited with what you could do with it, which was free of charge. And what we've actually done is we've extended the limitations, so you can now share and collaborate with people. And in here you can share models, point cloud data. You can do to-do lists, manage projects, that type of thing. So you can find that on our website and download that if you'd like to have a look. So Trimble FieldLink, we've because we're using this with the laser scanner, we've added the scanning module. So this is the same platform, the same interface. We've simply added a new module in here, and this is great for the construction industry. So it's going to allow people to do some in-field registration and georeferencing. You can view your scan data, and most importantly, you can view your model as well. So you can overlay your point cloud over your 3D model as you're scanning. So you can start to analyze that and have a look at that whilst you're out on site before you get back to the office. We've also got some basic setting out capabilities as well. And from here, we can export directly to other CAD platforms, which I'll cover now. So some of the features within the scan module that we've got. So the biggest difference between the Field Technology Group solution and the geospatial solution is we have a laser pointer available in the X7. And this laser pointer allows for some great features. First one being able to georeference. So the first time you set the instrument up, just like you do a resection with a total station, you measure your control points, and as you start to scan, that's going to be placed within that coordinate system. So it's going to give you your residual error as well, so you know that your setup is good. And we can also do some basic layout capability with this as well, setting out capability. So maybe as we're scanning, we want to set out something on the floor or on the ceiling, or maybe we want to record something and measure some points and record that information, and we can do that as well. So what it means is when you leave the site, if you georeference, you're going to have a fully registered point cloud that's in the correct coordinate system. And that's going to remove any mystery of scanning that you have and having to get back to the office and check that again. Excuse me. Also as well, we have one file to view your scan data and model. So you can have your model, your point cloud, or your setting out points all available on site. And we've got some examples here of what that would look like. So you can see down in the bottom right here, we have some M&E services. And very quickly, the person who's scanning and surveying this area can quickly see that there's some issues with the waste pipe that was put in. And straight away they can start to flag this with people on site. They can make engineers aware of it, and they can do this and start to inspect this as they're scanning. So whilst the laser scanner is currently scanning in one area, you're going to be able to start looking through this data and being able to analyze it and start to make records of things. So it's a great way of being able to see all this stuff just in one place. And this is just another example of what that would look like. So I spoke earlier about the BIM data that we have available. And down here on the right-hand side, this is giving us some information about a line that we've got in there. And we can see here the steel and how that looks against the point cloud. So that's comparing our model against our point cloud. So we can very quickly see our as-built and whether it's accurate and correct and start to raise any issues here. We also have station view on the tablet. So this is where we can view multiple platforms. So we can view the image that's taken by the total station, by the laser scanner, or we can view the point clouds in grayscale, high in density. And we also have one here, the third one along the line, third one from the left, and we can see a number of red dots. So what this is showing us is data that hasn't been collected. So this is great if you're scanning maybe in a plant room and you need to check that you've collected all the data. As we know, reflective surfaces and things can be very tricky to capture. You can quickly look on your tablet, have a look through the station view, so where that station was located, jump into this mode here, and it'll show you exactly what has and hasn't been collected with that laser scanner. So again, you can review that and maybe do another station setup before you leave site, before you get back to the office and realize that there's something missing or there's something wrong. And again, just the visualization tools of being able to see this. So you can inspect your scan data. You can go inside it and you can look around, you can zoom in. We've got some high definition images here that you can start to look at. And you can see up in the top corner there, we've got our 3D model overlaid in our point cloud, so we can have a look at that as well. So you could even use this if you were doing a pre-install. You could actually scan the area and have your 3D model uploaded beforehand, and you can actually see that it's going to fit and there's not going to be no clashes before you start to install anything. So it's a great way of being able to check retrofits and as-built as well. And we've got section views. So what you can start to do is once you've got your point cloud, you've started scanning, maybe you don't want all of that data. So what you can do is you can set section views. So as you would in most software, you have a section view box. And you just limit it to the area that you would like, and then you can save these section views as well, so you can jump between them, maybe a first floor, second floor, maybe just an area of pipe or some ductwork, and you can save these section views. And what you can do is you can export them as well. So again, you don't need to go back to the office. If you only want a small area of that point cloud and you need to send it to somebody who's going to be working in AutoCAD or Revit or SketchUp, What you can do is you can actually section box that area down. You can export that, and you can export just that area, so they don't have the whole point cloud. They don't need all of that. That's great, being able to use that out on site. And you can take some basic measurements in here as well. So it may be that you've seen something that's not in the correct place. You can create some points, and you can measure from point to point cloud. And you can also do these measurements in the camera view as well. So looking at 360-degree images, you want to record the as-built, and then you can take some images, some basic measurements in there as well. So it's just a great way, again, of being on site, being able to analyze this information without having to go back to the office and see anything else on that. And finally, on the tablet, we can finalize and refine the point cloud. So at the moment, there's other solutions that are available on the market that will give you a registered point cloud as you scan. But quite often, this hasn't been refined. It's just linking on to the previous scan station that it's done. So what we do is, before we go to site, you'll have a partly registered point cloud, so you'll be able to see what it looks like. You can analyze it, you can view it, you can check you've captured everything you want. Then when you're happy, you can finalize and refine this. And what that's going to do is it's then going to go through every single station scan, and it's going to stitch them together and tighten them up. And it's going to give you a nice report to say how accurate your scan is, the residual error, just like you get if you were working in something like Trimble RealWorks. And then from here as well, we can export that point cloud. Once you've refined it and it's fully registered, you can then export this into a CAD platform. There's an export button in FieldLink, and you can do this as a Trimble data exchange file, RealWorks, TZF, obviously supporting our platforms. But you can also export directly as a recap file, E57, and an LAS as well. So again, it's going to reduce your time of having to go back to the office, upload this onto a laptop, having to put it into another piece of software to be able to get that export file that you like. So we're going to be really reducing the time that you're going to be needing to process this data. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, and then we'll talk a little bit about the breakthrough technology within the hardware. So I appreciate some of you guys might have been on some of the earlier webinars, but I thought I'd leave this in for any of you guys that are only attending this one. And it's quite important, really. So we've got our Trimble Registration Assist. So we've got an IMU built within the X7. So what this is going to do is, as you move the X7, the laser scanner, from station to station, it's going to track how far it's gone, the orientation, the movement. So it's going to have a general idea when it comes to stitch these together. It's going to kind of know where they're going to fit together and which scan links to which one. If it doesn't work for some reason, we do have a manual registration, which is basically a cloud to cloud. So all you do is you scan, you drag the scan station that you've just scanned, if it's not registered, you drag it into the area of the one you want it to connect with, you hit the link button, and then it's going to stitch them together. So it's very nice and easy. And again, all this means is that when you leave site, you're going to have a fully registered point cloud. And you can start to see here on the screen, as you move from station to station, it tells you how you've linked them together. And most importantly is the integrated laser pointer. So as I say, this is where we're slightly different from the geospatial solution. So this is great for being able to do your georeferencing and setup. And again, as I say, you can collect some data on the way as well. So you could actually align this to your model. So even if you have a 3D model, and you want to try and align it the best you can, and you don't have a coordinate system or control points, you can maybe create some on some columns that you can just do that within the 3D model, and then you can measure them. And it's just going to bring that as close as it can to within that 3D model to allow you to be able to review and analyze your as-built information. And all these points that you measure are obviously going to be created within FieldLink, so you can start to export these and use this laser for some very basic layout as well, or basic setting out solution features. What I would say is, although we do have this and we are saying it's for some basic layout, it takes approximately 12 seconds to set out one point, so it's not going to be like using a total station. If you are going to be setting out hundreds of points or thousands of points, you would still want to use a total station for that practice. And then we have the Trimble X drive as well. So within the unit, what this means is we have automatic level detection. So it's got a 45 degree, it can compensate for up to 45 degrees. That means you can scan upright and upside down as well. And what the instrument's doing is with this X drive, it is constantly monitoring its environmental temperature, ambient light, vibrations, instrument temperature, all them things to ensure that you know that the data you get is going to be accurate every single time. And because of this, it's going to run a calibration every time you do a scan. So it's going to run this process every time. And because of this, it means there's no annual calibration cost. So this is the first instrument that anyone's produced out on the market that has no annual calibration, which we all know is going to be a huge cost saving. I think average, you're looking anywhere between £3,000 to £5,000 per year to calibrate a laser scanner, and we've just taken that cost away with this process. So that's going to be a great cost saver for any company who's looking to get into laser scanning. And then we have Trimble Vision as well. So we've upgraded the cameras into this instrument. So we're very conscious of this with our previous TX models. And we know that most people do want to have imagery while they're out on site. And it's a good use of your time while you're there laser scanning. Why not pick up the full 360 images as well? So what we've done is we've actually integrated 3 10 megapixel cameras into here. And there's 2 capturing modes as well. So we've got a quick image capture. So this is going to take 6 images, and this is going to add 1 minute to your scan time. And then we've got a high quality mode as well. So this is going to take 12 images as it goes around, and that's going to add approximately 2 minutes to your scan time. So previously, when we've used this on site, we tend to get away with using the fast mode. 6 images is usually enough. It might be that you'd want to take the 12, but you can normally get away with using the fast mode there. And this is going to give you full color imagery, which you can create panoramics with, and you can export these images. So you can export these as single images or a full pano as well, if you want to, and drop these into other software platforms. And this is just an example here of some of the quality of the cameras that we've got on there. So this was actually taken in quite a low lit basement, and you can see how high quality image we're able to achieve with this, even being able to read some of the writing there on some of them consumer units. And we've also added the high sensitivity EDM. So laser scanning is particularly difficult if you're using it on a black or shiny surface. So with our high sensitivity setting, we've been able to overcome this. And this is an example here. So previously using our scanning solutions, this would have been very difficult to capture this black shiny surface, and we've overcome that. And this is going to be really important in construction as well. When people are doing as-builts, you've got things like ductwork, you're in plant rooms, have a lot of black surfaces on site. It can be really, really hard to capture these. And hopefully we've resolved that. So maybe that what you would do is, when I mentioned earlier that you go back and review your point cloud, and you can see it will show you in the standard scanning mode that it hasn't collected these points. And then what you can do is you can just change the setting to high sensitivity, redo the scan, and it's going to collect all this information for you. So again, not having to go back to the office, not having to see that you've missed something, being able to do that on site. And just a recap of some of the specs of the X7. So main features: auto registration, calibration, leveling, and we've got an integrated laser pointer. It's got a range of 80 meters, which we feel is more than sufficient, especially in construction, as you have to move it for line of sight. Accuracy of 2 millimeters. It communicates with the tablet via Wi-Fi, but we do have a USB port as well. It may be that you might be out on a site, maybe an MOD site, that you can't have Wi-Fi. You can still use the scanner and use a USB to transfer the data. We've got the cameras, typical scan time. So in construction, we tend to use this on a level 1, and we're looking in just under 3 minutes for a scan. So it's very quick. And also as well, we've got an IP55 rating on this, and we've managed to improve the operating temperature as well. Not so big in the UK, but definitely a big improvement in other areas around the world. And this is how it's packed. So it comes with a soft shell backpack. It comes with a carbon fiber lightweight tripod, quick release adapter, and we've got some checker targets on there as well. So if you're having to set up your control points and pins in the ground, you use the tilt and check board on a pole to be able to get that control point, just like you would with a prism. Okay, and now I'm going to talk about the workflows that we have. So we have a number of software solutions available in FTG to allow for these workflows. Two of these that I'm going to show you today are brand new to the market. Literally one was released last week and one yesterday. So this is quite exciting for us. And the first one is being Trimble Cloud Engine, which is new. So really, one of the biggest issues we're seeing at the moment is having all this point cloud data, and being able to share that can be very, very difficult. So Trimble Cloud Engine is hopefully going to resolve that by being able to share this information on a cloud basis by via mobile devices. So you can actually set this up in the cloud, and you can share this with people once you've uploaded it. So it's great. It's got the usual features in, so you can do your registration in here as well. If somebody sends you some point clouds, you can drop these in here and you can do registration by plane and cloud to cloud, just as you would with other platforms. And we've actually got a really good unique feature in here that will align your point cloud to your model the best it can. So you pick an area of your point cloud, you pick an area of your model, and then what it's going to do is it's going to align them up the best it can. And we've seen some really good results with this. So it takes a lot of that work away from there. And then, as I say, you can publish this in a web sharing interface, people being able to view it on tablets, and it manages large data files really well. So what it does is you can process it and go through it to take away duplicated points. So if there's points in the same area that you don't need, it's going to go through and it's going to remove them. And this is great. And it's got a really good rendering engine as well. So you can still see these heavy files and you can share these with other people very easily using this piece of software. Importing your data, very simple. As you'd expect, it supports the usual file formats for TZF, FLS, ZFS, recap, E57, the usual file types. And you can also import your BIM and CAD data into here as well. So you can view your scan data against your 3D model. And using the X7, you can simply export as a TZF and drop this straight into here. So that's going to be a really simple workflow. And you can use all your images and panoramic photos that you've taken, and these are going to appear in here just like they do if I just go back, and you can see the cameras that we've got here. So you simply click on them and people are going to be able to see that. And there's going to be no requirement for other people to have this software. So you can send this on as I say, it's a web page that people can go to, they can see it, and then they can download that point cloud from there as well and be able to import that into the likes of Tekla, SketchUp, or they could push it into Autodesk products as well. And then we've got some validation tools in this software. So you can actually validate and see deviations of point cloud and point cloud. So this is a point cloud against a point cloud, and these will be shown as a heat map and cone geometry, and you can export these as an Excel spreadsheet as well. So you can share this with other people, and of course all this information can be exported to go into a CAD platform as well. So if you need to see it in that CAD platform, this will all go across into there. So we're really going to be, you're going to see this really being pushed out in the next week or so. As I say, it's only just been released, so we're just setting up training for all of our distribution channel and internal sales. But yeah, and you'll see some webinars coming out on this in the next couple of weeks as well. So we're really quite excited about this. We hope it's going to help a lot of people, not necessarily even people using Trimble scanning solutions, but I think this could be used by a lot of people out there and solve some of the issues with sharing that scan data. Something else we have in here is the floor flatness, floor surface report. So at the minute, this is to the American standard, the ASTM, but this is still going to give you the report that you require. It's going to give you your cut and fill contour lines that you can export out into total stations and things like that. So you can start to set this out and be able to share this information and collaborate with people. And again, we've got clash detection in here. So this is a really big one. So being able to do clash detection for your as-built, detecting clashes between point clouds and your 3D model. So this is going to be great for all your M&E services, your steel work, you know, just to check everything out on site. So once you've done that scan, it's going to reduce your time in the office interrogating that, comparing it to your 3D model. And again, each one of these that it picks up, it's going to give a unique ID to the position of it. So people are going to be able to locate it within their model and make changes and make decisions on it. And again, all being able to be exported as an Excel file as well. So people can view this in different ways. And the sharing side of it, again, being able to create a web-ready document for people to be able to see. You can see we've got the full 360 images on here. No, you're not going to need to have this software platform to be able to view it. You can share this with all your customers, and they'll have the ability to add annotations and attach documents and things like that as well. So this is great for collaboration and sharing. All this information as well is shared on your server. So this is where it's been really popular in North America, is with data centers, with defense and military projects. There's a lot of platforms out there at the minute, and they have to host it on a server, maybe with Amazon or someone like that. But for security, it needs to be on their own server. And with this, you have the ability to do that. So all this information is shared on your server. You know it's secure, and you know exactly where it is and who's gaining access to it. So that's a really big thing as well. Okay, and the next new one that we have is Scan Essentials for SketchUp. So SketchUp, if you don't know it, is a 3D modeling platform. It's probably the widest used worldwide. I think there's over in excess of 30 million users of SketchUp now, mainly used as an architectural tool. And this is the first time we've had the ability to have point clouds that are loaded into this platform. And we really feel like this is going to open up the market and open up laser scanning to a lot of people who previously haven't had access to it. And this is going to work similar like it does in other platforms. So you can model directly from your scan data. So you put your point cloud in and you'll be able to snap your walls to points, things like that. And then you'll be able to inspect that and check the accuracy of it as well. So the file formats that we'll be supporting on this will be the RealWorks, E57, LAS, and LAZ will be the supported platforms for that. If anybody is a SketchUp user and wants access to this, it's gained through your usual channel, through your SketchUp sales guys, and through the extensions in there, and they'll be able to advise you of costs and how to gain access. And we can also convert the scan data. So again, there's just some examples here of being able to analyze that. So select your scan data points against your SketchUp elements to ensure that it is as it should be. And this, you're going to be able to use this for as-built as well, which again, you've never really been able to do within SketchUp. So quite often, by the time it gets to construction, people will switch to another platform, but they'll be able to access all of this and all these features now within SketchUp as well. So this is, as I say, this is literally released yesterday. Yeah, we're really excited about this one as well. And then we've got our other platform, which is Trimble RealWorks, which most people will be familiar with. So we've got RealWorks Advanced Modeler. So within here now, we've added some new features. So being able to do some pipe extraction, you can do the same with steel and do some classification. And you can also import CAD data into Trimble RealWorks, and you can start to inspect that and analyze it and do some comparisons to be able to check that as well. And of course, we've got the ability now to be able to export directly to Recap, which was a feature we didn't used to have. So some of the ways that this is being used at the minute is our concrete analysis, so being able to extract your floor, do a floor flatness inspection. We're seeing contractors doing this. And then once you've got that, you can actually create some points on it to set out, and you can push this back into FieldLink. So being able to take this into FieldLink, you can view that in the same way. You can view your 3D model, and then you can start to set these points out so you know where you need to cut and fill in certain areas. So this can be used with the X7. You could use it with the robotic total station, and we have the RPT as well to complete that workflow. So this is available to a lot of people, and it's made very, very simple, but very, very effective as well. Okay, so just a quick recap of the solutions that we have. So the Trimble X7 project-based tool for 3D capture. So we can see this being used on every project now. We've made it very simple, very straightforward, and that's the idea, is to open up laser scanning to the whole market, really. and you don't need to have a surveying background to be able to do this, or a great deal of experience. And really, we see this is going to increase efficiency and hopefully reduce errors, because more people are going to be able to document the construction progress, their as-built information, and again, everything's going to be able to be done in the field. So we're reducing that process time. We're reducing your time in the office, going backwards and forwards, and we want to make everything available to everybody that we can share on a cloud platform. So with the likes of Trimble Connect and Trimble Cloud Engine as well. So just making that information and that data a lot more accessible to all the stakeholders involved in that project. And the software, again, just a quick recap. So on-site software we have there is FieldLink, and then we have the other platforms which should be used in the office, which will be Trimble Cloud Engine for analysis, publish and share, Scan Essentials for SketchUp, and our Trimble RealWorks, which is our advanced modeling module. And that's everything from me. Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Chris. That was fantastic. Thank you. We do have a couple of questions that popped up during the webinar there. So first of all, Chris, there's a question here on calibration cost.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, if you
no problem.
Again with the
yeah. So the calibration, there is no calibration cost with this X7, which again is a first on the market for a laser scanner. So this instrument is going to check its environment and do a calibration, an automatic calibration every time it does it produces a scan. So we've reduced that cost. So typically with previous laser scanners and something like the TX series, you're going to be looking at anywhere between £3,000–4,000 per year to scan. To calibrate that scanner. And we've completely removed that. So just to reconfirm, there is no calibration cost for this laser scanner. The only thing that you need to do is, if you were unfortunate enough to maybe drop it, it would tell you that it can't calibrate, and then you would need to send it in for repair. So yeah. I also see there's a question as well about on-site registration. So is it point to point, or can you select control points to tighten that? So you can do it both ways. You don't have to set the total station up. You don't have to set it up like you would a total station. So what you would do is you would do your resection with your first station setup, and everything's going to be tightened up back to that scan. Or what you can do is you don't have to do setup. You can just start scanning, and then it's just going to do a point to point and cloud to cloud. It's going to ensure that it's accurate, but it won't be placed within a coordinate system. Okay. One more question. Can you georeference your point cloud in Cloud Engine? Yes, you can. So you can register that to some survey points as well. So you can do your plane-to-plane registration, and then you can tie that into coordinate points as well. Absolutely.
Okay, Chris, we've got one here scanning in the dark there. So if you were scanning in the dark room, would the registration be affected, as the camera cannot see objects clearly?
No, it wouldn't, because it's not using the camera. It's using the IMU, and then it's using the cloud to cloud. So it'll be absolutely fine. Yeah, no problem with that.
And finally, are there any plans to enable multiple IFC files to be uploaded onto the tablet in the field using Trimble FieldLink?
I can see who this question came from. So at the moment, no. It is something that we are discussing with development. So the reason they've done that is because in Trimble FieldLink, we have two versions available. So we have an Office version, which you can have on your laptop or your PC, and then we have the tablet version. In the Office version, what you can do is you can add multiple files, and you can move these onto shared coordinate systems. And we don't have that ability to do that in the field at the minute. Now, that was really done as a test to see whether people would want it. And also, we were concerned that if people were out in the field, given them that ability, they would maybe put or upload a 3D model that was on the wrong or incorrect coordinate system. So at the moment, no, you can't do it, but it is something that we're looking at.
Right, fantastic, thank you. Okay, I think that's us done with the questions, Chris. So thank you all again for attending. We'll be in contact with each of you following the webinar. So please do maintain contact with us. There are a number of resources available for people centered around this series of webinars. So we have trial software if people require it. We have sample data. We've got the data sheets. And a lot of other stuff besides. So please do keep in contact with us at KOREC. We can answer any of your questions on anything from this webinar or the previous ones. As I said at the start, the previous webinars from the series are available on the KOREC website, so you can review all of those on there. I'll just thank Chris again for his time, and thank you all again for attending.
Yeah, thank you.
See you all soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks again.